Hello, I'm Matt and I would like to welcome you to the channel. If this is your first visit to our channel, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you will know when we upload a new video. In today's video, I am going to give my first impressions of the Ohio Steel 50SWP26 Pro sweeper after adding a modification, losing some parts, and breaking it. This is Ohio Steel's 50-inch model that has a 50-inch sweeping brush and is 58 and 9/16 inches wide at the outside of each wheel. I am using an Exmark Laser Z E-Series zero-turn lawnmower to pull the yard sweeper. There are several videos of the Exmark in the playlist at the end of this video. I originally bought the sweeper for picking up pine cones and small branches that tend to fall from the many pine trees on our property here in Lake City, Florida. My parents live on the property and are 87 years old at the time of this review, and the pine cones and branches are a tripping concern for them when they walk through our yard. When I was reviewing videos on YouTube about yard sweepers, I couldn't find any that specifically mentioned picking up pine cones, so I wasn't sure how well it would work. I also wanted to include some video of how well it picked up small branches and pine needles. I used the sweeper a little bit before recording this video to remove pine cones from a section of yard that my parents frequent, so I had already discovered that pulling the dump rope from the seat of the mower was hard on my shoulder and decided to add a pulley to the ROPS bar to reduce the strain on my shoulder and make it where I could pull down with my weight instead of twisting in the seat and pulling with my shoulder. This worked great and only cost me $12.60 for the pulley and paracord at our local Home Depot. I use our tools and equipment in a manner that I am comfortable with. Ensure you follow all safety instructions from the manufacturers of the tools and equipment you use, as failure to do so could lead to serious bodily injury or death. Our Exmark mower has a 60-inch deck, so the sweeper does not cover the same path as the outside of the deck, so sweeping next to objects like trees can be somewhat challenging. I will probably weld an offset mount on my hitch for the mower with the left side of the mower in line with the sweeper so that I can get right up next to the trees. This first clip is in real time so you can see that it only takes a few minutes to fill the sweeper up with debris. The sweeper doesn't pick up everything with one pass, but it sure picks it up faster than using a rake or picking up the pine cones and sticks by hand. I try to find a happy balance with how full I get the sweeper, because the fuller the sweeper is, the more effort it takes to dump the debris out of the sweeper. I get better at filling it up, as you will see shortly. When Hurricane Helene blew through our property, the storm downed multiple trees on our property, including this 85-foot tall, 24-inch diameter pine tree that fortunately fell away from our house into our backyard. It was covered in pine cones, and when I cut it up, there was a substantial amount of pine cones, pine needles, and small branches in the yard. This short clip will give you a little context of the debris that was created by the pine tree, and is the same location as the previous video. In this clip, I am hooking the pulley and paracord up to the sweeper. The factory rope was too short to reach the pulley on the ROPS bar and then back down to where the driver sits. I made a pull handle out of a 3/4 inch oak dowel by drilling a hole through the center and running the paracord through the hole. This made a nice handle to pull the paracord with and sure beats pulling on the factory rope. I wear hearing protection when I am running a mower to protect my hearing. My dad suffers from hearing loss and I don't care to join him. I also wear a seatbelt because I have seen a few people that have been crushed before, and I sure don't want to join them either. In this clip, I thought I would dump some debris and demonstrate how many passes it takes to pick it back up, like if someone raked pine needles up into a pile. It takes a few passes, but sure beats picking it up manually. It definitely works better when you come at the pile from the narrow side. I have read some reviews of people advising that it is difficult backing the sweeper up, and I will admit it does take some practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's not bad at all. I use the zero turn to move trailers when I can because it is much easier to make adjustments than when using a tractor or a truck. I don't think I would enjoy the sweeper as much if I was pulling it with a riding lawnmower or a tractor. I hook my pull handle around the armrest so I can pull the mower forward before tipping the sweeper back into its operating position. This was one pass around my yard. Another pass around the yard. This one's a little over full. I'm getting a little better at emptying it out. I have to be a little more careful about backing into the pile because it makes it difficult to empty. I really backed up too much this time. Much better, but I had to check my phone. In this clip, I am spiraling out around a tree so you can see how close I can get to the tree without having the sweeper offset, and it gives a decent view of how well it picks up pine needles. There were quite a few pine cones that it picked up as well. This sure beats the heck out of using a rake. Now we get to the first repair. These two parts were held together with the factory supplied clevis pin and hairpin which fell out during use, on both sides. I grabbed a few bolts and nyclad nuts to fasten them back together where it could still rotate, and was back in business in short order. Side number 2. At least it was consistent, I guess. Now on to the second repair. After replacing the clevis pins with bolts and doing some more sweeping, I went to empty the sweeper, and the bar that the paracord was tied to broke in half, right where the factory had a thumb screw fabricated in the center of the bar. This was the same spot the factory rope was tied, so I guess the pulley was just a little too much force for the design. Not a huge disaster. I cut a piece of exterior PVC conduit with our Milwaukee pruners and made a quick repair. I had to go grind a burr off of the end of the tube. I added a piece of hardwood ash to the center with some zip ties to spread the force of the paracord over a larger area to prevent it from breaking as well. Now we're back in business. This is the last row that I am going to show during this video, and I included it in real time so you can see how quickly the sweeper fills up. So what do I think of a sweeper that I had to fix twice? First, I wish it was designed with a pulley and pull handle because using just the supplied rope is not as easy. This would require a design change to support the additional force, but I think it would make a worthy upgrade or accessory. Second, the clevis pins and hairpins were a fail for me. Bolts and NiClad locking nuts work better. Third, I wish it were 60 inches wide to match my mower. Some viewers may be wondering why I don't use a pull-behind yard vacuum or a bagger on my mower. The best price on a yard vacuum I found is about $1,600, and the bagger attachment for my X-Mark start around $2,200. At the time I purchased this from Amazon, it cost me $318.20 shipped to my house. In the future, as this channel grows and starts paying for the equipment that I use, I will probably purchase a yard vacuum and a bagger system so that I can give a review of both and a comparison to determine which is best. This row between our pine trees is about 170 yards long for context. My apologies for the length of this clip, but I think the results of the sweep is worth your time so you can better understand how well this sweeper picks up debris. It takes me 2 minutes and 23 seconds to go down the left side of the row and then come back up the right side of the row. In this about 170 yards, the sweeper is full of pine straw, amongst other debris. Would I buy it again? Even with these faults, it sure beats raking and picking up debris manually, and for $318.20 on Amazon, I think it is still a bargain. If you have experience with a better sweeper, or have some suggestions for a future video, please leave a comment in the comment section. And yes, I do answer every comment. This is my results of about 3.5 hours of playing with this sweeper. It sure beat raking all that stuff up by hand. Thanks for watching, and may you have an awesome day.